we'll have to look into that. So what we are focusing on right now here is we are trying to, guide you through the exam, do some past papers. Of course, you have to understand that we'll not be able to complete an entire syllabus within this program. That is not how it works, right? So we are going to, get on certain topics which are most frequently questioned in the program and trying to go through that, right? So you have to always be smart when you do exams like this. So if you have selected the university, you would know now. I have given you the insight of what is the pass mark and things like that. So you know how to score. So if you are bad at mathematics, you try to score your maximum in chemistry, right? So get a mark somewhere above 80%. So then even if you go down in maths, you will still have the appropriate average. So that should be your task, right? This is the very first time that any student from any foreign country will be sitting for this exam, because this was not a mandate back in the day, that just like how I told you. So because of that, we are also trying to help you out. It's new for everyone. I hope that, with the experience that we have over the past 7 to 8 years working with these Chinese universities, that we'll be able to get a positive impact for all those students who want help. So for this, you have to understand that right now, what we are conducting this program is on a paid basis, but of course, for the students registered with us, this will be free. But I'm sure there are students from students who have come, who have not yet registered for a university, who are still, sort of in two minds, or who have registered with someone else. So anyone can participate in this program. So we will guide you with the examination, and we can also help you with, whatever the questions you have regarding, your future in the medical career, or whatever you need to know. Because so both of us, Dr. Andeep and myself, we are both doctors working in the state sector in Sri Lanka. So anything that you need, anything that you need to ask regarding your future. So beyond this point, that is, we can help you out with. So as long as the exam is concerned, so this is all that I have to say. We'll be sharing a PowerPoint slide with you later on in the program, which guides you step by step on how to get registered for the exam and how to set up your home examination room, right? So there are certain particular things that you need to have, like, for example, you have to use a computer with Windows in it. You can't use Mac. You need two cameras. You need the front camera as well as a phone to be used as a secondary camera mounted on a tripod, most likely, right? And you need a whiteboard with markers. So these things we will let you know. So you have to set it up. You have to set this up in your own room. So it's not complicated. It's just that you need the tools and a good internet connection. That's all. Is there any questions that you guys have to ask? So this is all that I have to say.
Good morning, Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've already registered for March intake. So I was just wondering if we are going to be covering the lessons before that, or is it going to be targeting the April
No,
examination?
yeah. So basically, we'll be targeting on the April intake, because it's not that you will not. Of course, now we are still in the February 20. So until the March 15th, you will be covered. Some of the topics will be covered. So, but then the basic task of this program is to look majorly on the April exam, right? Because what we need to cover from our end, we can't do it before March 15th. But it doesn't go to say that you will not benefit from it. Of course, you will benefit, because until the 15th of March, you can follow this. And you are going to get something out of it. It's not because since you have not sat for this exam before, so you are completely new to it. How to set up the exam. The questions that are going to come, the past papers and all those things. So there will be some benefit, but of course, this program mainly focuses on the April intake. So the other thing is that, like, let's say if you don't score, if the score that you got is not satisfactory in the March, you can always sit for the April as well. So that that opportunity is always there.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
So is there any more questions, or can I wind up? But then I'll wind up. You can
Yes.
continue.
Okay, guys. Okay. So as a company, as studies of company, so we are going to, after you graduate from the university, we are going to give you the opportunity to go through the ERPM, all the lectures, and we have provided all the lectures through the platform. Those who are going through our company, they will be getting these benefits as well, and we are going to guide you throughout the your university career as well. So if you want to visit our website, you can find out all the ERPM lectures and the other physiology and basic courses you need to have as a medical student. So our lecturer will be joining by 8:45. So I will upload the question paper. You can go through the question paper. So I think some of you might not have any idea about the mathematics, as we have not done this subjects in our A levels. So I'll upload the question paper to the system, and you can go through it. So we'll be starting the lecture by 8:45. Is there any questions?
Hi, good morning. Excuse me.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so is this going to be a discussion of the paper? Are we supposed to attempt it alone and then are we going to discuss it, or how is it?
So no. This is going to be a discussion, and I think most of the students, they can't do the question paper now because we haven't done mathematics in the A levels, so there's no point of wasting the time for doing the exam at this time. So in the next class onwards, we can have the time for exam, and then we can go for the discussion. I think that will be
Okay.
better, no?
Yeah, thank you.
I have uploaded the paper. You can go through the paper. Sorry for disturbing. There is small notice. Our chemistry lecture will be starting at 11 because there is this unavoidable reason for sir to not to attend the class at 6 p.m. So the chemistry class will be starting at 11. Okay, guys. So we'll be joining the class now. So hope you have gone through the paper. Is there any things you want to clarify?
Excuse me.
Okay. Okay, now sir has joined the class. So now we have given the paper to the students. So
All
I
right.
think they
Okay.
have
Good morning,
gone through
all.
the
Yeah.
paper.
Okay.
So we can actually
Start the
start.
discussion,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, hope now you have an idea about the syllabus of the exam, right? I think you have explained that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I have shared one paper to discuss. Wait, I'll open it. I'll share my screen. I can share it, right? Yeah, I
Yes.
can. Okay. Can you see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. So basically the structure, I think you have an idea about your structure now. So you have 48 MCQs and 1 hour will be given to complete these 48 questions, right? And basically those will be given from these the content is this, right? So from sets and inequalities, and we have functions, geometry and algebra, and probability and statics also. So when I go through the question papers, I can see that some of these are from your O-level background. Actually, some of these you can solve with the O-level background, but there are certain parts that you have to you should have the knowledge in A-level mathematics, right? That we have learned in whatever we have learned in A-level mathematics. You need that knowledge for that. So I'll just go through the questions one by one up to a certain limit, and I'll give you some idea, right? What they are expecting and what will be like, what can be the other questions, like what could be the other questions that will come to the question paper, right? So basically, I think you have tried these question, right? Uh, Randeep, are they responding, or just shall I just carry it on?
Yeah, it's better if you can switch on the cameras actually.
Uh, Me, no?
You and I mean the students as well, sir.
Yeah, if you have anything, you can ask, huh? Right? I'll just know. Maybe you don't have much to ask because since this is the first day. But if you have anything, you can ask, right? I'll explain or I'll help you to clarify your doubts, right? Wait, I'll turn on my camera. Uh, okay. Can you see me?
Yes, sir, yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I'll start with the first question, right? So this is about the sets, right? And it's given that the given sets A 1 and 2 and B is 1, 2, 3. Then they're asking which one of the following statements is correct, right? So basically, when we talk about the sets, you now this part actually you have learned in your O levels, right? So uh, when you talk about the sets, now there are certain symbols that you should know, right, about the sets, right? One is here they are checking about the subsets, right? Subsets. So subset, what is a subset, right? That is the thing that they are checking here. So subset is a set which can be represented from a part of another set, right? Now here you can see the set A is having 2 elements, 1 and 2. Set B is having 3 elements, which are 1, 2, and 3, right? So when you consider set A, you can see that set A is within the elements of set B. So you can say A is a subset of the set B, right? So that is the thing here, but you should remember the symbols. Now here you can see there are several symbols. I'll right. Now you can see there are several symbols here, right? Wait 1 minute. Something wrong with my. Yeah. Now the first one is this one, which is indicating a subset. Normally, when you write this, remember this side will be the smaller one, the subset actually. This side will be the larger set, right? So here we have A, which is the subset of B, right? So you should write this as A is a subset of B, right? That is how you write. And what are the other symbols here? Like this is equal, which means two sets are equal. So here you can see they are not equal, because if they are equal, this should have, the set A should have 1, 2, and 3, or else the set B should have 1 and 2 only, right? So they are not equal. And this symbol is denoting that this A is belong to B, right? Now normally we use the denoting symbols for the elements, like 2 is an element of set A, so you can say 2 belongs to A, right? Like that. This is how you write the belonging element, right? And finally here we have our answer, I think. So basically A is a subset of B, right? So that is how you write the subset. So the other elements, especially this one, this is that the symbol that we use to show that this belongs to a certain set. And also sometimes you may use equality, because the two sets should be equal, and maybe inequality, right? So do you have anything regarding that? Do you have any questions regarding that? If not, I'll move on. If you have anything, you can just stop me for the clarification, right? So then the second question, it is again about the sets, right? So now here, I think the first one, I think with the first question, you may be familiar, because that was in your O-level syllabus, right? So second question, it is again about the sets, right? So it is given that given sets A is from -1 to 3 and B is from 2 to 4, right? Then A, here they are taking the common part, right? A and B, we have two sets. So what is common with A and B, right? Now, here the important thing is, when you consider set A, it is given that it is from -1 to 3, right? Set A, it is from -1 to 3. So if I take the elements of this, those will be, if I just take the whole numbers, or whole numbers, you have to write 0, 1, and 2 only, right? 0, 1, and 2. So that is, so actually these are the elements of this set A, right? You got my point? Now here they have given the set is from -1 to 3. If I take the whole numbers, so the whole numbers between -1 to 3 are 0, 1, and 2 only, right? And let's take the second one, set B, right? Set B is given like 2, that is square bracket, not the normal bracket, square bracket, comma 4, right? So what are the elements of this set, as you think? So you can see, compared to the first one, in here, in both sides, we have normal brackets. Here we have a square bracket. So remember, when you have a normal bracket, which means that number does not belongs to this particular set. But if you have a square bracket, that means it is below, that number is belongs to this particular set, right? So here you can start with 2 and 3. Can we write 4? No, you can't write 4 because here we have a normal bracket, so which means our set does not like belongs this particular element. So these are the elements of set B. So you have the elements of set A and set B. Now you know this is to indicate the common elements. So here we have two, like one common region, which is starting from 2. Now you can see number 2 belongs to both of these elements, sorry, the sets. So you can start from 3, and here we can go up to 3, but you cannot take 3. Here also same, you can go up to 3, but you cannot take 3. So you have to write 3 and the brackets that you are going to use here. So 2 is included. So starting from 2 and up to 3, but it is not included. So you have to use a normal bracket there, right? You have to use a normal bracket there. And here we have to use a square bracket. So the answer should be from 2 to 3, including 2, right? So from 2 to 3, including 2. So here we have 2 to 3, but both ends are included. Because of that, that is wrong. And here we have from starting from 2, we are going to 3, all right? This is correct because we can include 2, but you can't include 3. Yes. So here the other way, right? Starting from, like actually starting from 2, but you can't include 2, but you can include 3. That is wrong. The other one also wrong, right? So that now remember, I have seen that they are like questioning the sets, or they are questioning the ranges using these symbols, square brackets and the normal brackets, right? They are questioning a lot about like lot of numbers. When they are giving the ranges, most of the time they use these two symbols. So remember, the square bracket is like indicating that the particular number is included, and the normal bracket is indicating that that particular number is not included. You can go up to that, but not that particular number, right? So is that clear? If you have anything, please raise your hand, right? You can raise the hand through the meeting also. No? So if you have anything, please ask. So I'll continue. So that is how you do the second question, right? About the sets. It's again about the sets, right? Now I'm coming to the third one, right? That is now here, this is about quadratic inequalities. Now you have learned about quadratic equations, right? Normally a quadratic equation means it starts from like x, the power of the x is 2, plus you can have any number with x and then a constant number, right? So then that should be equal to a certain value, right? That is how you write a quadratic equality or quadratic equation, right? Now here the difference is it is an inequality, right? So first thing is, to simplify the quadratic equations, we have several methods. One is, the basic one is factorizing, right? Or taking the factors, right? You know what are factors, right? If you can take a number, let's say number 15, you know this, but I'll just go through this. So if you take number 15, you can write this is 3 into 5, right? So which means if you divide this 15 by 3, you will have the answer as 5, and the remaining part will be 0, no balance, right? So if you can divide a certain number from another number and then you don't have any balance, then you can say this number is a factor of this. So simply the factors of this is 15. If you write 15 as 1 into 15, and if you write it as 3 into 5, so all these are the factors of 15. So simply by factorizing, if you factorize a certain like value or an expression, then those two multiplications will be, or those two multiplications are the factors of this particular equation or whatever inequality or whatever the statement, right? So here, to solve this, first you can factorize this, right? I think you can remember this. This is x squared minus 5x plus 4, right? So to factorize this, what we do? The first thing, you have to take the product of this, that is 4x squared, right? So then you have to write it, the product as a multiplication of two terms, right? Like 2x into 2x, or else 4x into 1x, right? And then the addition of these two should be equal to the middle point, right? Addition of these two will be equal to this, right? So actually should be equal to this. Now you can see by taking the addition of these two, you won't be able to get this, right? So what is next then? Then you have to take the addition of these two. When you take the addition of these two, again you can see you will have 4x plus 1x means that is 5x positive or plus 5x, right? So but here the value is negative 5x. So what we can do? To get 4x squared, you can use, yes, 4x into 1x, or else you can use minus 4x into minus 1x. So minus 4x into minus 1x, again it will give, minus into minus, that will be positive, plus, right? So 4x into 1x, again, plus 4x squared. And when you take the addition, minus 4x plus minus x, so when you take the addition of same type of numbers, so it will just give the answer in the particular type, right? The sign, particular signs. And so it is 5x, right? So you can replace this minus 5x with these two, right? With these two numbers, right? So I'll write it as x squared minus 4x minus x plus 4, right? So I'll take x out from these two, taking the common term out from these two, which is then x minus 4. And here I'll take minus 1 out from this, then again I'll have x minus 4. So now you can see x minus 4 is common. So x minus 4 I'll take out, and this will be x minus 1. So these are the two factors of this inequality, right? Quadratic inequality. Now, this part, I think you're familiar with that. Now we are coming to the inequality. Normally in O levels, you had the equation. So this will be equal to 0. So, x minus 4 should be equal to 0, or x minus 1 should be equal to 0. From that, you can take the two answers as x equals 4 or x equals 1, right? That's the way that you have simplified the quadratic equations, right? But here it is an inequality, right? So what I'm going to do here now, I can write this as x minus 4 and x minus 1 should be like lesser than 0. Lesser than 0 means, when you take a number line, right? This is 0. Lesser than 0, normally if this is 1, 2, and this side is minus 1, minus 2, right? So lesser than 0 means this side, right? Which means basically we are talking about negative values, right? So this needs to be negative. That is simply the idea here, because the product of these two should be negative. So by asking the solutions, what they are expecting is what are the x values that you can use here to get the negative values from this quadratic inequality, right? So now there are several methods to take the values. Basically, you can see to get a negative value, this should be, now we have two terms now. If we have both positive values, can we get, now we are going to take the product now. Can we get a negative value by taking the product of two positive values? No, we won't be able to get the negative value, right? And then if we have two negative values, let's say the answer of this is negative, answer of this is positive. Sorry, negative again. So what will be the product? Again, that will be negative, right? positive, the product. So again, we won't be able to get this. So what is our requirement? The requirement is one should be positive, the other should be negative. Then only we will be able to get the negative answer for the whole quadratic statement, right? So to get a positive value and negative value, now you can see this is x minus 4 and this is x minus 1, right? So if you apply, let's say, the value between 1 to 4, now let's say we have two few possibilities. We can apply a number in between 1 to 4 or a number beyond, like below 1 or a number beyond 4, right? So let's say we are going to apply this kind of a number, right? Like a number lesser than, let's say 1. So for an example, I'll take 0, right? So if I apply 0 here, you can see this, if I apply 0 here, what will be the sign of this? 0 minus 4, that will be minus. Okay, this will be minus. And 0 minus 1, again that will be minus. So the product will be plus. So can we get a number from this region then? Which is like, can we get a number to x which is below 1? No, because if you apply a number below 1, then this will be minus, this will be minus. So the product will be positive. So you don't get a negative value there. So then I'll go to this side. A number greater than 4, right? So simply, let's say I'll take number 5. So if I apply number 5 here, right, then this will be positive, 5 minus 4 plus 1. And 5 minus 1, again, plus value, right? Plus 4. So again, plus into plus, this will be plus, right? Again, you won't be able to get a value from this side. Now, I have only one region, which is in between 1 to 3, right? So 1 to 3, let's say I'm taking 2, right? If I apply 2 here, what is going to happen, right? If I apply 2 here for the first one, right? So let's say I'm applying 2 here. So this will be negative then. And if I apply 2 here, this will be positive. So the product will be negative. So then this is giving us this region is giving us the required properties. So the solution should be in between 1 to 4, right? So now one more thing. Can we apply 1? Or can we get, by applying 1, can we get the answer? So here, if I apply 1, then if I apply 1, this will be 0. So whatever the value product or multiplied with 0, then that will be 0. So is this inequality equal to 0? No, it's not equal to 0 because they have not given the equal mark. So if it is equal, it will be like this. If this is equal, they'll give a sign like this, right? Then only you can use 1 also. But here, they have not given that. So because of that, you cannot use 1. Whatever the value is greater than 1, you can use. So how are you going to give the answer? You can use 1, but you can start from 1, but you cannot include the number 1. So then you have to use the normal bracket, right? The normal bracket. So the other end, if you apply 4, what is going to happen? If you apply 4 here, again, this will be 0, right? So 0 into whatever the value, that will be 0. Again, that is not, this inequality is not equal to 0. So you can go up to 4, but you cannot include 4, right? So because of that, your answer should be starting from 1 to 4, but you cannot include both 1 and 4. So this should be the answer, right? So out of this will be the answer, right? So now there are certain, if I explain the other answers, you can see here. Now, what does this mean? So it includes that you can start from minus 4, but you cannot include minus 4, right? Which means maybe minus 3.99, something like that. You can start from that. And you can go up to minus 1, but you cannot include 1, right? That is the meaning of this, right? And if I take the other one, it is starting from negative infinity. Normally infinity, you cannot have an exact number for the infinity. Because of that, you will have this bracket anyway, because it is not an exact number, right? Infinity. So we are starting from minus infinity and you are coming up to +1, but you cannot include +1. And at the same time, you're taking the other side also, right? You're taking the other side. So both of these sides will like from 4 to plus infinity, right? In the number line, I have shown this 1 to 4. So they are saying this side and this side, both sides, from in minus infinity to +1 and +4 to plus infinity, right? So that is how they have given the regions, right? So anyway, the answer of this question is number 4. I mean, answer D. That is the correct answer for this one. So that is how you like simplify a quadratic inequality. Sometimes they may give some inequalities with like fractional inequalities. There you have a fraction, right? In that fraction, you have the extremes up and down, right? Numerator and denominator, right? So that kind of questions will be also there in the paper. I'll discuss some of them also in future, right? So then the fourth one is from functions, right? The domain of the function y, the function is given, right? They're asking about the domain. Now, this part actually you may have not learned under O level, right? So, what is the domain of a function? That is the first important thing now. So, what is the domain of a function? As you know. So, domain is, now, when you take a function, down here they have given y equals 1 over root x plus 1, right? So when you take this function, this is called, normally the x value is called independent variable, right? This is called independent variable, right? And this is called dependent variable, right? Dependent variable. So independent variable means that is the variable that we can change as we like. Whatever the value that you like, you can give to the independent variable. And dependent variable means you cannot change this as you like. Normally in an equation, what we do, we give values to x in a function actually. We give values to x and then we will determine the values of y, right? We give determine the values of y, right? So x is called the independent variable, y is called the dependent variable, right? Now, what is the domain of a function? So the domain is like, normally we can like describe the domain as the set of all the inputs that you can give to x to produce real numbers for y, right? There are numbers called real numbers or defined numbers and undefined numbers, right? So for an example, now let's say we know certain numbers, we know the exact values. Those are called defined numbers, like the whole numbers, sometimes the decimals, right? Those are called defined numbers, right? And there are certain numbers, we don't know the exact value. So those are called undefined numbers, right? Or those are not real numbers, right? So something like this. Now, one thing is, okay, this one. If you take the square root of -5 or minus, let's say 9. If you take the square root of 9, that is, actually 3 plus or minus. But if you take the square root of -9, what would be the value? Right? What would be the value? When you take the square root, let's say plus 9. So this is plus or minus 3. What does that mean? So if you multiply plus 3 by plus 3, you will get 9. Or else, if you multiply minus 3 by minus 3, you will get 9. So when you take the square root, you take the root of this, plus 3 or minus 3. But when you take, to get a square root, that particular number should be able to take a square of a particular number, right? So by multiplying same number from the same number or multiplying it twice, right? So you should be able to get this number. But when you take minus 9, how can we get minus 9? Yes, 3 into 3, but one should be plus 3 while the other should be minus 3. Then only we will be able to get minus 9. So can we get a square root of this? No, you can't, because plus 3 and minus 3 are not same numbers, right? When you take a number line, right? Plus 3 is somewhere here, right? The minus 3 number is somewhere here. So those two are not equal, right? So because of that, you won't be able to take an exact value for number 9, minus square root of minus 9, right? So because of that, you will be able to, you won't be able to get a value for this, right? So that is why we call this an undefined number or not a real number, right? So now such a number cannot be if you now let's say we have root x, right? So if I apply a negative value to x, it won't be able to provide a positive or real number for y. So can we include that negative number as can we consider that negative number as a domain, as the domain of this function? No, right? That is the basic idea. Simply the domain is the values, all the the set of datas, the numbers that you can that you can give to x to produce real numbers in y, right? So here you can see the function is given as y equals 1 over root x plus 1, right? So that is the function. So now here, what are the numbers that will give a positive value to y? Definitely the negative numbers, right? So you have to exclude all the negative numbers, right? You have to exclude all the negative numbers because negative numbers will give, if you include a negative number, definitely it won't give a positive, like a real number here, right? And which means you cannot include the negative numbers. So if this is 0, you can't include these. So can you include 0? If you take the 0 value, what will happen? Normally, when you take the square root of 0, right? When you take the square root of 0, that is also called an undefined. Sometimes they call it a defined number, but in certain cases that is undefined. Anyway, now let's say this is defined square root of 0, right? So anyway, if you take 0 here, that will be, let's say, 0, square root of 0, and you have 1 over 1, you will get 1, a positive value, a real number. So you can, maybe you can include 0, but normally we call the square root of 0 is undefined, right? So in that sense, you cannot include 0 also. Beyond 0, you can include, right? So whatever the positive values. So from 0 to, starting from 0 to the positive end, you can, positive infinity, you can enter a number because that will give a positive number. And when you take the division, yes, you have a real number. Yes, that is lesser than 1, but that is a real number. So because of that, the domain of the function is not the negative numbers, only the positive numbers starting from 0. So how are you going to write that? Starting from 0, but you cannot include 0, and then you can go up to the positive infinity. You cannot include positive infinity because that is not an exact number. So the answer will be starting from 0 to can go up to positive infinity, right? So that is the domain. That now this is the range of the numbers that we can include or that we can give to x to get a real value in y, right? So the answer is C, right? The answer is C here for the fourth question, right? So they have, I have seen in the other question papers also, they have checked this, the domain, whether you know about the domain, right? So they are, the important thing is you should know that now domain is the set of numbers that gives a positive value to y. So what are the undefined numbers? If you have undefined numbers, then you cannot include that in that particular range. So as an example, a negative, whatever the negative 100, yes, that is undefined. So you cannot include that. This is one type of an undefined value, right? And also sometimes like whatever the number divided by 0, if you get 0 to the bottom, so this is called undefined one, right? And maybe the power of 0, if you get power of 0, that is an undefined one, right? And maybe infinity minus infinity, if you get this, so this is an undefined one. So there are different like cases. I'll discuss these in future, right? What are the cases that you can get for the questions about the undefined ones, right? So here I'm just giving you a basic idea, but there's a lot to be discussed, which we will do in the classes, right? So basically, these are the things that can come to your paper, right? That is the basic idea that you should get about this paper, like about these questions, right? So then I'll move on to the fifth question, right? So there, if an is an arithmetic progression with first term a1 is 2 and the common difference is given 3, then 800 equals round. Arithmetic progressions actually you know, right? In Sinhala we call them Samantara Shreni, right? So you should have the first term and you should have the common difference, right? Like except for an example, if I take 3, then let's say 7, 11, right? And 15 goes on, right? So this is the first term, which will be denoted by normally A. And the difference between these two, the second term and the first term will be 4. And here also the difference will be 4. So we have a common difference, right? So normally we denote it with D, right? And if now this is the first term, this is the second term, third term, fourth term, like that. If they ask the 10th term, which means T10, term 10, that is the meaning of this T10, right? They are giving it as A1, first term, second term, like that. So you may remember the equation. For the Tn, we have A plus n minus 1 times D. You should remember this equation, right? So A is the first number, n is the number that we are looking for, the term we are looking for actually, D is the common difference. So here they have given A1 is equal to 2 and the D is also given and they are asking A100, right? The 100 term. So T100, I'll write in T because that is more familiar to us, right? So A1 is 2 plus N, which is 100. We are looking for the 100 term minus 1 into D, which is 3 here, right? So this is 99 into 3, which is 297 plus 2, 299, right? So that is the answer for the 100 term is this, right? So those are very basic ones actually, right? So yeah, here the answer is C, right? I think I don't have much to explain there. The only thing is you have to remember this equation, right? In your all levels, you have learned this, right? So you have to remember that equation. Then you just have to apply the values that are given, right? And sometimes now here you can see this is very straightforward question because they have given the first term and they have given the common difference and they have like they're asking the 100th term, but in certain cases they won't give it like that. It won't be straightforward. Sometimes they will give, okay, the second term is this, the addition of third and fourth term is this, right? Then what will be the common difference? So like that. So you have to use the basic equation. With that, you should develop an equation to solve or to determine the common difference. So I'll discuss that kind of questions in future because I have seen several questions in that caliber in the other exam papers also, right? So this is a straightforward one, but bit complex questions will be there, but those will be discussed in the class, right? So number 6, now they are asking the point -1, 3 minus 5 lies in the quadrant. Which quadrant actually? Now, the first thing, do you know the quadrants? What are quadrants? So, quadrants means, if I take a line like this, in angles also we discuss about the quadrants. So quadrants means, now in angles, if I talk about the quadrants, so if this is 0 degrees, from here to here, this is 90 degrees, right? And from here to here, it is again 90, which means 90 to 180, right? And this will be 270, and again this will be 0. So from 0 to 90, we call this the first quadrant, right? It is the first quadrant, right? And 90 to 100, 90 to 180, that is called the second quadrant. So 180 to 270, this is called the third quadrant, and this is called the fourth quadrant, right? Or else in numbers, right? If I talk it in, now here they are talking about the numbers. So it's like this, right? So think this is x-axis and y-axis, right? Normally, this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. So here this side is the positive side of x and this side is the positive side of y. So that region is called the quadrant 1, right? And here, if you take this C region, right, the y coordinates are positive, but the x coordinates are negative, because here we have -1, -2, like that. So the x coordinates are negative, right? So that is called the second quadrant. So the third quadrant is here, this region. There you have negative x values and negative y values, right? If I, now you know how to write a coordinate, right? So if I take a point, let's say the x value here is 2, the y value here is 3, right? So the coordinate will be given as 2, 3, right? So first you write the x coordinate value, the x value, and then you write the y value, right? So if you write a coordinate of a point which is in the first quadrant, you will get both values as positive values. When you go to this side, let's say this one, right? Then second quadrant, which means the x value will be negative, but the y value will be positive, right? Let's say this is -4, right? So if you go to the third quadrant, then there you have negative x coordinate and negative y coordinate. So -2 and -4, right? Like that. And here your x value will be positive. Let's say this point, the x value will be positive and the y value will be negative. So those are the 4 quadrants, right? Now take these numbers. Here now we have -1, 3 minus 5, right? So the x coordinate is negative, which means definitely it should be in second quadrant or third quadrant. All right. So then take the y value, right? So 3 minus 5. So what is the value of 5? Normally you may remember that is 22/7, or else we call it 3.14 approximately, right? So when you take 3 minus 5, which is 3 minus 3.14, which is actually minus 0.14. So we don't we don't need the exact number, but the sign is the important one, right? So the sign is minus. So which means the y value is also negative, right? So which region then? In the second region, you have negative x but positive y. But in third quadrant, you can see negative x, negative y. Because of that, the answer, the point states in the third quadrant, right? So the answer is the third quadrant. So like that, okay? So they have asked sometimes, they are just giving the points like this. You can see sometimes they don't give the exact number. Sometimes they give a number in the format of sometimes in an equation. So there you have to simplify and get the number, right? So they will give certain steps to follow to get the exact number. Then only you can determine, okay, which quadrant is in this what we call the number or the point, right? So this is how you determine the quadrant. Clear? I think that is clear, right? So I'll move on to the next one, and please ask if you have anything to clarify, right? Just stop me and ask. I'll give more explanation about this because I'm doing little bit like faster because I'm expecting you to have a certain like knowledge from all levels for these kind of things, right? But if it is a new one, then like from which comes from A-level mathematics background, then definitely I'll like spend more time to explain that, right? So the seventh one, they are they're asking us to compute these values, right? So here one more important thing. Now remember the phi, the symbol phi is giving us the number 22/7 or 3.14, right? And also sometimes we use the phi value as an angle, right? If you can remember, maybe under physics you may have learned this, that 2 phi radians are equals to 360 degrees, right? 2 phi radians are equals to 360 degrees. So which means phi is equal to 180 degrees. So remember this, right? So here sine phi over 4 plus cos phi over 4. Take the addition first because it is within the bracket. You can remember about mass rule, I think, right? Brackets, right? Or like that it goes on. So and into tan phi over 4. So first thing, what is phi over 4? Phi over 4 means in degrees, we are familiar with the degrees, no? So for 180 divided by 4, which is then 45 degrees, right? So they're asking about sine 45, cos 45, and tan 45. So now you should remember these values. Huh? So what is the value of sine 45? Anyone? Can you remember the value of this?
1 over
Cos-
root
Sorry?
1 over root 2.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that is 1 over root 2. And cos 45?
It's also the same. 1 over
Yes,
root.
that is again same. What about tan 45?
It's 1.
It's 1, yes. So those are the values, right? So you just have to apply. Now sine 45, it is 1 over root 2 plus 1 over root 2 again into 1, right? Into 1. So which means whatever the answer you get from this will be the answer because when you multiply any value with 1, you will get the same value, right? Now, how are you going to take the addition of these two? 1 over root 2 plus 1 over root 2, right? So how are you going to do addition? Here, we have a square root value here, but doesn't matter because those are equal, right? So you can take the common denominator as root 2 and this is 1 again plus this is 1. So that will be 2 over root 2. So this is the answer. Now, do we have that answer here? Yes, we have that answer, right? 2 over root 2. But one more thing, you can write this sometimes. They are now actually we have two answers here, I think. Right. It's like this. Now you can write, normally we don't keep these square root values at the bottom. So what we do now, the root actually 2 value, number 2 actually you can write root 2 into root 2. Because root 2 into root 2, again you will get 2. Because you can see here root 2 into root 2, which means within the square root, it's 2 into 2, 4. So for root 4 is again 2. So because of that, if you have 2, you can write it as 2 into root 2, right? So divide by root 2, this one. So here we can cancel these two out. So there we have root 2. So that answer also here, I think this may be a mistake on their side because now we get this as the answer because this is plus. And remember this dot is indicating the product, right? So this is also equal to this, right? More suitable answer is this actually because we don't keep the square roots at the bottom. That's the way, right? In mathematics, the square root values that we cannot, if we can't get the exact square root value, then you don't keep it at the bottom. You have to simplify and take it to the top. So the most suitable value answer is this actually, but both the answers are numerically correct, right? So that is how you simplify this. For this, you need that numbers actually. Now one student gave the answers. That's very good actually. So you should remember this table. I think you can remember now. You have learned this in O levels. That is sine, cos, tan, and you should know the numbers of 30 and normally 45 and 60, but I'll write it as 60 and 45, right? And now sine 30 is half. The same value will be there for the cos 30, cos 60 actually. This is half and half. Then sine 60 will be root 3 over 2. And that same value will be here for the cos 30, right? And for the 45 values, 1 over root 2. And this is also 1 over root 2, right? For the tan values, we have 1 and root 3 only. First one, that is 1 over root 3. And second one is the reciprocal of this. Reciprocal means taking the upside, like taking the bottom one comes to the top and top one goes to down, right? So it is root 3 and 45 is 1, right? So if I ask, what is the value or sine values and cos values for these values? Let's say 0. What is the value of sine 0? Anyone? Sine 0 is? Okay.
Zero.
Sine, yeah, yes. Sine 0 is 0. Cos 0? Cos 0 is 1. Tan 0? Tan 0 is again 0. Right? Remember this also. And one more important value, which is 90. Right? Sine 90 is 1. Cos 90 is 0. And tan 90 is infinity. Infinite. It's very large. Because of that, we call it infinite, not an exact number. Right? So this is how we get the values for 0 and 90 also. So all these values are important for your for this paper actually. So remember these two also. Now, I think you are familiar with these three values. It's table actually, but remember this also. That will be useful actually for the questions, right? If you want it again, I'll just keep it for a little, right? So that is how you simplify this. If you know the values, it's very easy, right? If you know the values for the particular degrees, then the simplification will be easy, right? Okay, so then I'll come to the 8th question, right? The following function is odd. They're asking which of the following function is an odd function, right? Now, you know, odd and even numbers, right? So odd function, but I think you are not familiar with odd functions and even functions, right? So what is an odd function or what is an even function, right? So simply, now let's say we have, for example, we have a function y equals, I'll take one from this, x plus x cubed, right? So the function is, now this y function is in terms of x, no? So you can write like this also. F function of x is equals x plus x cubed, right? So if it is what we call an odd function, then you can identify whether it is an odd function or even function like this. First thing is, if it is an odd function, when you apply minus x value, right, to this function, right, ultimately you will get a minus value for the answer. For an example, now I'm applying minus x to this. So instead of x, I'm writing minus x, right, plus this will be minus x cubed, right? You know, if you take minus x square, which means minus x into minus x, so that will be plus x square, right? And if you take the minus x cube, this will be minus x into again minus x, right? So then, this will be plus x squared again multiplied with minus x. So it will be minus x cube, right? So this will be minus x and this will be minus x cube, right? So simply you can take minus value out, x plus x cube. So now you can see here that when you apply a negative value to the x, your ultimate answer will be negative, right? So that kind of a function is called an odd function, right? That kind of a function is called an odd function. Clear? So for an example, now let's take this one. Y equals 4th power of x, right? So here the function of x is x4. Now I'll apply negative x to this. Then what will happen? 4th power of negative x, right? So if I write it x minus x into minus x again into minus x and again into minus x, okay? So here this will give us plus x squared into this will again give us the plus x squared. So finally it will be the 4th power of x. Now you can see even though you have applied a negative x value, the final answer is giving us a positive value. So that kind of a function is called even function, which means for the function, for the x value, if you apply a negative value, still it will give you a positive value, right? So it is like if you apply minus x to the function, finally the function will be positive like this. But here what has happened? If you apply minus x, that will give you minus fx. If you apply plus fx, it will give you plus fx. Like that. So this kind of function is called even function and this is called odd function, right? So there are certain, that is the basic definition of an odd function and even function. So normally we call what we call the even functions are symmetric. If you give a graph, it will be like this. Whatever the y value, the x value, whatever the x value, the y value, the function value will be positive. Here you can see when you apply a positive value, the y value is positive. And when you apply a negative x value, again the y value is positive. So that kind of a function is called an even function. So that is the basic idea. So according to this is, I have taken this already, which is the odd function. So there are lot to discuss about the odd functions and even functions, which I will discuss during the classes, right? So here I have given a basic idea about an even function and odd function, right? So in here, this is an odd function. All the others are even functions. I'll discuss these in the class, right? How they become an even function. So that is also important, right? So that is about odd functions and even functions. And in functions now you may have heard about few new things. First thing is the domain, and this is about the odd functions and even functions. And next one question also like that, right? It is about the inverse function, right? They are asking about an inverse function, right? So what is an inverse function? Now, another new term. So what is an inverse function? So now inverse function is a function normally that reverses the basic or whatever the given function gives. If it reverses the other way, like this. In simple terms, it's like this. Now let's say you have this function y equals x cube. That is what they ask in. So when you input x here, you will get y now. So that is the basic function, right? So the inverse function of this is what? When you input the value to y, you will give the x input, right? You will give the x input, right? So simply what we do in inverse functions, right? To determine an inverse function, so they are giving us the basic function, no? Like let's say y equals x cube. So what you have to do, you have to interchange the x and y, because what we expect when you give y as the input, you will get the same x value as the output, right? So you have to interchange these x and y. So like that, here instead of y, I'll write x, and this is y cube. Again, now you have to simplify this. Now, how are you going to get y? So the y value will be the square, not the square root, cube root of x. So this will be the inverse function of this. So how to determine the inverse function? Simply, you have to interchange the variables. Instead of x, you have to write y, and instead of y, you have to write x, right? So basically, by simplifying that interchange one, now here this is the interchange one, so then simplify it to get the y value. So that will give you the inverse function of the particular what you call the function, right? So the idea is when you interchange or when you like reverse the process, you will get the same value. That is the idea of the inverse function. So simply the determination will be done like this, right? So here, according to that, the answer of this should be number 4, right? The 4th choice will be the answer. For an example, to explain more about this, for example, let's say we have a function of whatever this is. Now this will be equal to 8, right? So which means to get the same x value, what we have to do, 8 we need to divide by 2, then we will get the x value, right? So this will be the inverse function, which will give us the same x value, right? Something like that. Okay, so I'll more elaborate on that in the future classes. So the basic step that you can follow is you can interchange the parameters, then you can simplify to get the y value, which will be the inverse function of the original or the initial function. So number 10, again about the functions, they are
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
This is regarding the 8th question. Sir, can you substitute minus values to A and C as well so I can understand it a bit more?
Okay, sure. The 8th one, right? So here,
Yes, sir.
okay, now I'll take, you're asking about A and C, right? So
Yes, the sine and cos one.
okay, right. So the first one, I'll take A, which is the function is x sine x, right? So let's substitute a negative value to this. So here you have minus x into sine minus x, right? So normally the sine minus x value will be, this is straightforward, right? That is minus x. This will be written as minus sine x, right? So talking about the quadrants, do you know this thing, right? Let's say this is 0 and this is 90, 180 and 270, right? So, you know, if you take a sine value in this region, in the first quadrant, that will be positive, right? Sine value positive. Cos value positive, tan value positive, because normally we discuss about this region only, 0 to 90, right? In the previous question also, I have given values from 0 to 9. So when you go beyond that, do you know that in that region, for an example, let's say in this region we have 150 degrees now. So when you take sine 150, sorry, so that will be a positive value. Sine 150, actually you can write it as sine 180 minus 30, which will be sine 30, right? Like that. So when you go to that region, sine will be positive, cos and tan will be negative, right? And here, when you go to this side, tan will be positive and cosine sine will be negative. And here, cos will be positive, sine and tan will be negative. So simply, when you go to that negative region, whenever value you apply, it will get the same value. So only this negative sign will come to top, come to the front. So instead of now sine, if you apply sine minus x, that will be minus sine x, right? That will come to minus sine x. So now this minus and minus will be multiplied and that will automatically becomes plus. So this will be x sine x again, right? So because of that, when you apply even though you have applied minus x, ultimately you are getting a positive value for the function, right? So which is a property of what we call, which is a property of the what we call this even functions, right? That is why this is even, right? Or that can also be explained with the graphs also, right? I'll keep it now for the moment, but I can explain that with the graphs also. You may have learned about since you have done bio, I think you are not familiar with the sine graphs and cos graphs. Do you know the sine graphs and cos graphs? Not sure, huh? Anyway, I'll keep it for the moment. So anyway, this is how it becomes a positive value, right? And when you take the cos value also same, right? When you take the angle, whatever the angle, now let's say the C, option C is giving us fx is equals cos x, right? So in cos, it's the opposite of sine, right? So when you give the, now let's say f minus x, right? So this will be, if you give cos minus x, this will be positive. It's the opposite of this. So that is then minus plus cos x. This will automatically convert to plus x, right? This will automatically convert to plus x. That's why this is another positive one. Even though you have applied the negative value here, this will be a positive value at the end. Here, when you apply the negative value, the negative value will come to front. In sine, it won't change, but in cos, it will change. All right. That is why this will become a positive one. Eventually, this will be positive, and here it will be negative, which is at the front, and that will be multiplied with the minus or negative value again, and ultimately you will get a positive value, right? That's how these two became even functions, and this is all I have already explained this. So that's why those are even functions. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Right. So I was in the 10th question, right? So there they are asking the following function is monotonically increasing. Which of the following function is monotonically increasing? Now another new term, right? So what is monotonically increasing? That means when you know there are certain functions, right? When you give in a function, there are two variables, y and x, right? Not equals, but y and x. So when you give a value to x, the function y will vary. There are certain functions when you give value to what we call x value, y is going to vary. So monotonically increasing means when you increase the x value, y value is always increasing. Right? When you increase the x value, y value is always increasing. That kind of a function is called monotonically increasing function. For an example, let's take this y equals 1 over 3 times x, right? Now, I'll apply several values, right? I'll start with 0, right? I'll start with 0. So when x equals 0, y will be 1 over 3 is 0th power. Can someone tell me the answer for this? What is the 0th power of 1 over 3?
1.
Yes, exactly. That is 1. Whatever the number, 100, 200, 1000, if you take the 0th power, that is 1. Okay. Now I'm increasing the x value. Let's say 1. Right? So this is then y equals 1 over 3 is number 1. First part. What is the answer of this? It's the same value, right? 1 over 3. Okay. Then I'll take x equals 2. So y equals 1 over thirds second power, which is 1 over 9. Now, what can you say about the function, the value of the function? When I'm increasing the, now here I'm increasing the x value. This value, initially it was 1. Now it is 1 over 3, which is about 0.333. It goes on, right? And this is lesser than that. Right? Now you can see when I'm increasing the x value, the y, now here I'm increasing the x value, but the y value is going down. So is that the definition of monotonically increasing? No, monotonically increasing means when you increase the x value, y value also should increase. So is this a monotonically increasing function? No, right? So the second one, it is y equals log, or the function is equal log to the power of 0.5 x, right? So you can write this as a power also, right? Can you remember now? Let's say 2 to the power 3 is 8, right? So how do we write it as log? Log to the base 2, 8 is 3, right? This is how you write it now. So the same way, right? This is the base, this is the answer, right? So you can write this to the 0.5 base, right? Whatever the power, right, is equal to x, right? Now here, 0.5 means again a half. You can write like a fraction, half. So again, it's like this. When the x value is going up, you know, the power value is, the whole value, the final answer is going down. So same thing is happening here. So because of that, this is also not a, what you call, a monotonically increasing function, right? And then let's take this, the third one, right? The third one, y equals 2x plus 1. So when you increase the x value, what is going to happen to y value? Is it going to decrease? No. When you apply 0, this will be 1. When you apply 1, this will be 3. When you apply 2, this will be 5. Like that, it goes on, right? So when you increase the x value, y is also going to increase. So this is monotonically increasing, right? And what about, so that is the answer actually, right? Monotonically increasing. And what about the what you call the fourth one, which is y equals sine x. So you do, now you are not familiar with the sine graph. I think because of that, I'll draw the sine graph here, right? So it's like this. Sine graph means we are plotting, sorry, we are plotting a graph between the angle, right? Let's say this is the angle, right? Which theta or x, right? X is the angle here, and this is sine theta or sine x, right? Since they have used x, I'm using x here, right? Let's forget about theta anyway. This is the angle, x is giving the angle. So when you apply 0, now here it's going with the angle now, so this is 0, right? Then I'll have, let's say 90 degrees, then 180 degrees, 270 degrees, 360 degrees. Okay, can go beyond that also, right? Then 450, like that it goes on, right? So I'm giving the numbers because it's easy to understand. Otherwise, I can go with 5 over 4, like 2, 5, then again 3, 5 over 2, 2, 5, again that, like that it goes on, right? So now when you apply 0 to this, sine 0, I have given the value previously. If x is 0 degrees, then the y value is sine 0, which is 0, right? So it starts from the origin point, right? I'll mark with this color then. Here, starts from this, right? Then what I have, sine 90, right? So sine 90, if x equals 90, sine 90 will be 1, right? This will be 1. So at 90, it should be 1, right? At 90, it should be 1. Now, it's going from here to here, but how is it going? Is it a straight line or is it a curved path? Is it a curved path or straight line? So here, actually, it is not a straight path. Now, when you take the sine values also from the tables, you can see they are not varying like in a linear way. Right? Like if they are varying in linear way, you can predict the values. Like if sine x is equals 0, sorry, if the sine 0 is 0 and if sine 90 is 1, then definitely in between point of these two is 45 degrees. No? At 45 degrees, the y value should be half. But you know it is not half. Sine 45 is 1 over root 2. Because of that, it is not varying linearly. It's a curved path. So it is like this actually. From here, it's going on a curve like this. Right? Initially, it is increasing rapidly and the curvature is getting less and it will become flat. Right? So the other side is, it's like this. It's going down. At 180, it becomes 0 again. And at 270, it becomes negative 1, minus 1, and 360, it comes back to normal. So this one goes like that again and again, right? That is the nature of a sine curve, right? Now you can see here, when you increase the x values, right? From 0 to 90, yes, the y value or the function is increasing. But what is going to happen afterwards? When you go beyond 90, from 90 to 180, it is getting down. It is decreasing. The y value or the sine x value is, when you go, when the x value is going up, the sine value is going down. So because of that, you cannot say this is a monotonically increasing function. So hope you got the idea. So this is what we call a sine curve. So I'll explain more about this sine curve, cos curve. So these are important actually. So I'll explain more about these in the classes, right? So the basically my plan is to take the lessons separately first and discuss the important things about like in each and every lesson, and then go to the question papers and discuss the question papers. Because now when if you start with the question papers, sometimes it may be difficult to like cover all the content. So basically I'll start with the question, like sorry, the syllabus, the content, and I'll finish the content first, and then I'll discuss a few question papers with you, because then you have the knowledge about this, then you will get more idea about the explanation. Sometimes now you are not getting, like sometimes you may feel unfamiliar about these things because you don't know the theories behind these functions and all these, right? So because of that, maybe it'll be like bit difficult to catch up. But when I discuss the theories first, then you will be able to understand what I'm speaking here, right? What I'm talking here, right? So basically, this is a sine graph. It can be what we call it can be a cos graph also there. Then you should know how it is varying also. Anyway, now here you can see the sine graph also increasing up to a certain time, but again that is decreasing. Because of that, this will go down. So it is not a monotonically increasing function, right? So the answer should be C. So I'll move on. Then the 11th one, I think that is an easy one now for you. The following point lies in the third quadrant. Which of the following actually they're asking? Now you know the quadrants. So the third quadrant means they are the x values and y values. If I draw it, the third quadrant will be this one, right? There are the x values and the coordinates of x and y should be negative, right? So only negative values are given in this, right? Should take the first one, second one actually, that is negative x, positive y in the second quadrant, right? and this is positive, positive, first quadrant, and this is positive, negative, which is in the fourth quadrant. So they're asking about the third quadrant one. So the answer is the first one. All right. So then here we have another inequality, which is a fractional one. I told you that initially we have like simplified, we have done this kind of question, quadratic inequality. Now this is a fractional inequality, right? So let's see, now they're asking about the solution set. Again, you have to give it as a set, right? You have to give it as a range, right, of numbers. So they are, should know the symbols. You can see here, normal bracket and the square bracket, right? The normal bracket and the square bracket both are here, right? So let's see the fractional inequality. It is given that x minus 1 over x minus 2 is lesser or equal to 1, actually. Less or equal to 1. Now, this is the symbol. It is equal to 1. It can be equal to 1, right? So, now here, if I take the, if I discuss about the simplification of this process, then x minus 1 over x minus 2 should be lesser than 1. So the simplification can be done in several ways. The first step is the easiest method, I think. You can take this 1 to the other side. So that will be minus 1, which is equal or lesser than to 0, right? Then you can simplify this, right? So how are you going to simplify this? It is x minus 1 over x minus 2 minus 1. So there you can take the common denominator and simplify this. So I'll take the common denominator here. So when I'm taking that, I can write this as x minus 2 the denominator. The top should be again x minus 2, right? Or else, simple terms, you have to multiply this with this, then you will get this common denominator, right? So that will be then x minus 1 minus, within brackets, x minus 2, this one, divide by the common denominator, which is x minus 1, which is less than or equal to 0, right? Which is less than or equal to 0. So I'll come to this side. Now you can simplify x minus 1 minus x plus 2, because this minus x, this is minus into minus plus 2, divide by x minus 1, which is greater or smaller or equal to 0, right? So now, here, if you simplify these two x values or x terms will be cancelled out, and minus 1 plus 2 means 1, right? 1 over x minus 1 is equal or lesser to 0, right? So now, I think I have simplified correctly, right? So x minus 1, yeah, x minus 2, yes. So this is minus 1 plus, yes. So then, so the simplification now, this should be lesser than 0, which means this has to be, now if you have to get a value lesser than 0, what does that mean? That means here, if you take the number line, I'll take the number line here like this.
Excuse me, sir, the denominator should be x minus 2, right?
Yeah, sorry, I missed it. So here it is x minus 2, x minus 2, x minus 2. Yes, thank you for pointing that. Sorry, my mistake. So it's x minus 1 over x minus 2. So now you can see here the value should be equal or lesser than 0. Lesser than 0 means, again, if you take the number line, it is about the negative values, right? So the answer of this should be negative. It cannot be positive, right? It can be 0 or else it has to be a negative value, right? So what are the options that we have? Yeah, what are the options that we have? So if we want it to be a negative value, so 1 over x minus 2, now just apply the values and see. If you apply 0 here, what will be the value? This is 0, which means 1, if x is equals to 0, this will be minus 1 over 2, right? So which is a negative value. So that is giving us a negative value, right? Yes, that is suitable. So you can apply 0. What about 1? If you apply 1 here, that will be 1 minus 2 and then again minus 1, which is minus 1 actually. So that is also suitable. And if you apply 2 here, what is going to happen? If you apply 2 here, what is going to happen? 2 minus 2 will be 0. So 1 over 0, what is the answer of this? 1 over 0? Is it 0? Or is it something else? What do you think?
Undefined.
Yes, that is undefined actually because it is infinite, right? So can you apply 2 then? No, it is undefined, but you can come up to 2. Now let's see what will happen if you apply 3, right? If you apply 3, right? Then 1 over 3 minus 2, which will be 1 over 1, a positive one. Now, is it satisfying this condition? No. So because of that, you cannot apply 3 or even 2.5 because 2.5 also will give us a positive value. So you can go up to 2, but you cannot include 2, right? Negative values? Yes, you can use any negative value. So what should be the answer then? If I indicate in a number line, number 2 is the limit, but can you include it? No, you can't. So below that, whatever the values which are below that, then you can apply it. So you can start from negative infinite, right? Negative infinity, and then you can come up to 2, but both the ends, actually negative infinity is not an exact number. So because of that, you cannot you can include that. The positive, the other end, you have to exclude that. So the range should be starting from negative infinity to 2, and the brackets are important. Those are normal brackets, not the square brackets, right? Those are normal brackets because you cannot include both of the ends to this particular answer. So that is how you do it. Now here for the explanation only, I have asked you to apply 0, 1 and 2, but normally whatever gives the 0 value to this, you just check that value, and with that you can get the idea whether you can include that or not, right? Because normally for this kind of a question you have only about 1 minute, no more than, maybe slightly over 1 minute. So you don't need to apply one by one. Just apply the value that gives this as 0. So you can see that is not applicable. And when you go beyond that, this is positive, it's not suitable. So the negative values, that is how you take it, right? First simplify it and then take the decision. So that is the way you do it. There are different kind of fractional inequalities also, which I will discuss in the classes, right? Which I will be discussing in the classes, right? So for the moment, this is how you do it, right? Hope you are clear with that. So that is number 12, right? So number 13, right? So number 13, give me one second. Right. So the 13th one, it is known that ABC from an arithmetic progression and it satisfies A plus C is 20. Right? So the arithmetic progression, it's about the arithmetic progression. So we have done a straightforward question at the beginning, right? So here, they have given that there's a arithmetic progression, A, B, C are the terms, right? And A is the first, like when you consider this, let's say the A is the first term, B is the second term, and the C is the third term, right? So it satisfies A plus C is 20, right? Satisfies that A plus C is 20, then B equals, so what is the B value, right? So how are we going to simplify this? So the first one is A is the first term, let's say B is the second term, and C is the third term, right? So now you know the gap between A and B and gap between B and C are common, right? Because that is the common difference. So I'll say this is the gap is D, common difference, and here again D, right? So if I now they have given that A plus C is equal to 20. Now they are asking about B, right? Now I can write B in terms of A and D. How is that? You can get B by adding the common difference to A. So B is equal A plus D. And what about C then? C is equal A plus what? Tell me the value. A plus D or something else.
2D.
Yes, that is 2D because D plus D, another D. So this is 2D, right? So now here they have given A plus C, which is equal to 20. So I'll write A instead of C, I'm going to write A plus 2D, which is equal to 20, right? So here 2A plus 2D will be 20. So I can take 2 out. A plus D will be 20. So A plus D will be 10, right? So what are they asking? They're asking about B, no? So the B value is A plus D. Eventually, I have got the same thing. A plus D. So the A plus D value, which is B, is equal to 10, right? So the answer is 10. So that is how you simplify it. That's what I told you now. The first question was, the previous one was a straightforward one, but here they will give this kind of questions. So you should know the basics about the arithmetic progressions, that the second term can be taken from the addition of common difference to the first term. Third term will be 2 times the common difference, addition of 2 times the common difference to the first term. Simply, that is this equation, Tn equals A plus n minus 1 times D, right? That is the equation. So we have used that. So this is how you simplify this. Is that clear? Hope that is clear, right? If you have anything, please raise the matter, right? So I'll move on. The 14th one. So the 14th one, it is given that y, the angle of inclination of the line y equals root 3x plus 10, right? Now talking about the lines, right? So you're familiar with this actually, right? So there are different kind of lines that you have learned. The first one is the inclined lines I'm talking, but there are like constant lines also like this. But talking about the inclined lines, the first one is the one which is going through the center, the origin, right? So that kind of a line we call y equals mx. This is called y equals mx, right? And there are other types of lines like this. Is going from the up, right? So this is called y equals mx plus c, right? So if this angle is theta, right? The angle created with the x-axis, if it is theta, right? Then let's say, now when you take the term y equals mx plus c, m is the gradient, c is the interception. Interception, it is visible on the graph, the interception point of the y-axis, which is c. M is the gradient, So gradient can be calculated, or gradient is equal to the tan value of this theta, right? So the gradient can be taken as the tan value of this theta, right? Now they are asking about the inclination, the angle. Inclination means the angle created with the x-axis of this particular line. Now you can see that line is y equals root 3 times x plus 10, right? So this is, right? This is in the form of y equals mx plus c. Can you see? C is 10 here, the interception. M is root 3. So m is root 3. So tan theta is then, m is tan theta. That is equal to root 3. So now can you remember the table? According to the table, tan value is root 3 at theta equals 60 degrees, right? So theta should be tan inverse root 3, which is 60 degrees. Now remember, when you are doing the paper, you don't need to write all these steps, right? I'm writing all these just to explain you. But here, when you are doing the paper, sometimes you can like straight away imagine, all right, here it is mx plus c, m is root 3. So tan theta should be root 3. So root 3 will be given at tan 60. Okay, the value is 60. Like that also you can simplify. No need to write all these, right? I'm just writing because I want to explain. That purpose only I'm writing. So during your paper, you have to like you can do it with shorter steps, and maybe if you can do it by simple calculations, it's better, right? So the answer should be 60. The answer is given here as 60 degrees, right? So the answer for this thing is 60 degrees, right? So remember, the inclination can be taken, if it is theta, can be taken from the gradient actually, right? So when the gradient is varying, the inclination only varying, right? So I think you may be familiar with this thing also, right? I'll draw it here, that let's say now the inclination, if the inclination is or if the theta value, the inclination is lesser than 90 degrees, the m value is positive, right? The gradient is positive, right? And remember, when it is the inclination is changing like this. Now you can see the inclination of this point is this theta 1, let's say. If this is theta 2, then if the inclination is increasing, the m value is increasing. Let's say the gradient value is m1, here the gradient value is m2. So m2 is greater than m1. And if it goes the other way, right, which means the angle is more than 90 degrees, then the gradient is negative, actually, a negative value, like y equals minus 2x plus 10, like that, right? So there are a few more things to be discussed, so which I will discuss in the class, in the upcoming classes, right? So anyway, this is how you determine the inclination angle in this case, right? So you have to identify that this is given in the form of y equals mx plus c. Then this is very easy, right? And next they're asking the following, which of the following inequality is true, right? Which of the following inequality is true, right? So there are like all the inequalities are in the decimal powers, most of them, right? So the first one, it is 0.7, the power is 0.2, right? So normally how can we convert? Now normally we can't take minus powers, right? For example, let's say we have 2 to the minus 2 power of 2. So how can we convert this to a positive power? What is the step? You have to take the reciprocal of this, right? Reciprocal means normally, at the bottom we have 1. So take 1 over 2, then the power will be positive 2. So this value is same as this. So this will be 1 over 4 actually, right? Because the second power of 2 is 4, no? So 1 over 4. So that is how you convert it. Here also the same. This is actually, say, I can write 7 over 10. So, I mean, 0.7 means 7 over 10, right? It is minus 0.2 power of this, right? Then I can take it down. 1 over 7 over 10's positive power, right? So 1 over 7 over 10 means again you can interchange this. That is 0.0 seconds power, right? So power value actually, now that is the meaning of this, right? And the next one is then 10 over 7's 0.4 power, right? Now which one is the greater one? Here, the greater one is this one actually. The highest the power, because now the same number, we have same number, let's say 2. We have third power, 2, we have 6 power. So the higher the power, higher the value, right? So here we have same number, the power is high in this second case. So because of that, this is the greater one, not this one. So because of that, this inequality is false, right? The second one, now you have 1 over, here we have I'll erase this one. Second one, you have 2.1's minus 2 power, which is greater than 1.2's minus 2 power. So first we will convert this into positive powers, 2.1's square, and this is 1 over 1.2's square. Now you know this is like a fraction. So when the fraction is high, I mean when you take the square of 2.1, that is 2.1 square is greater than 1.2 square, right? But here what is going to happen? You have to divide 1 by this particular value. So when you divide 1 by the larger value, this whole value will be less. So it should be like this, right? Hope you got the idea. So 2.1 square of 2.1 is greater than square of 1.2. Because of that, this is the large number, the larger number, but you have to divide, to take the actual value, you have to divide 1 by that number. So when you divide 1 by a larger number compared to the small number, this will be smaller, right? That because of that, this inequal should be in this side, not this side. Because of that, that is also wrong, right? And then we have the third one, that is the power 2.25 power of 3 and the third power of 3. So definitely the base is same, not a negative value. So because of that, this is greater than this. Yes. So the answer is that one. And here again you can see the powers are same, the numbers are different, right? So when we have same power, right? Same power, whatever the large number gives us the higher value, because this is not a fraction. I mean, this is not a number which is smaller than 1. Right? When the number is smaller than 1 only, it is going the other way, right? So because of that, here the left one is higher than the right one, right? So because of that, that is also wrong. So the answer is answer is C, number 3, right? So that is how you determine the powers of maybe the negative powers or the positive powers or the fractional ones. So those, there are like more details to be discussed, which we will discuss in the future classes, right? So that is how you simplify. That's how you do the first 15 questions. So for the time being, I'm going to stop at this place. So hope you got an idea about what is going to, like, what will be our classes like, right? So basically, as I told you earlier, I'm going to discuss about the theories first, then I'll come to the questions, because with the theories, you'll be able to understand what I'm discussing here easily, right? So there are certain parts that you can do with your O-level knowledge, but there are certain parts that you have to learn, like that we have learned under A-level mathematics. So you have learned those during this class, right? So I'm going to stop at this place. Randeepa, are you there?
Thank you, sir. Hope you have got something from the class. And so any questions to be clarified?
Is there anything? Yeah, if you have anything.
So our next class we will be announcing soon. So updates will be in the group. Then so according to the time factor, actually we have got 30 minutes break, and the next class, the chemistry class, will be starting sharp at 11 o'clock. So I'm not going to finish. I mean, the end this Zoom meeting, so it will be continued. So our chemistry lecturer will be joining sharp at 11. So you can have your break and come back.
Okay, then I'll disconnect from the video. See, hope to see you all in the classes. Okay.
Thank
Right.
you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Okay, guys. Hope everyone has joined the class again.
Okay, very good morning, all of you. I think for your admission to the uh, medical degree, you have to follow a chemistry paper, right? So now, today we are doing a pre-session on chemistry. I have already asked the study reserve the admin people to send you a paper and do it and come today so we can discuss that. So let me introduce myself first. I am Dr. Lakmal. I am a research scientist in Sri Lanka Institute of Biotechnology. Professionally, I am more towards biotechnology, but if I tell my background, I am an MSc holder in analytical chemistry and a tutor for 13 years in chemistry, A-level, advanced level chemistry. And that's why Sudhira and the admins of Study Reserve, they asked me to conduct this one for you. So you can follow the session. So let me tell you, first thing, you are very free to ask questions during the session because this chemistry is not that much hard. It's very simple paper. With your A-level knowledge, you can do this paper very easily. So if you are not very conversant on chemistry, so please clarify your matters during the class, right? So first of all, I need very small information from you. All of you have done A-level chemistry or not? Please um, in the chat, let me tell please tell me whether you have done A-level chemistry or not. Then that is easy for me to conduct that. Yes, Umesh has done. Arusha. Yes. Okay. Arusha done. MS17. MS17, can you rename yourself? Yes. Okay. So, with the A-level chemistry, I think this is not that much hard one. So I'll share the screen and I'll do it. But today, unfortunately, I'm not in my. I have a separate setup for doing classes with a smart board. But today, unfortunately, I'm in a different place. From next week onward, we can do in the proper classroom environment. So yeah, I'll share the screen. You have to interact with me because I am asking questions. So please interact with me. Then that is very easy for me to do this one, and it will share the knowledge among yourself, right? Okay. So First question, which of the following is a chemical change? Right? So now when you come to chemical change and physical change, there are two things called chemical changes and physical change. Physical change means just you change the physical state, solid, liquid, gas. If water turns to ice, that is a physical change, right? Physical state change. Chemical change means definitely it from we'll say carbon reacts with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. So that means combination of element or some compounds, it forms new compounds. It forms new compounds. It is we call as a chemical change. So now if you look at the answers, activated carbon absorb pigments, right? There is no chemical reaction involved. Ice melting into water, physical change. Iron rusting. If you can remember in O levels also we are doing, in A level also we are doing this one, rusting reaction. So what is the rusting reaction over there? Fe, right, converts to Fe2 plus 2 electrons. This is oxidation reaction. And on the other side, H2O plus O2, it forms 4OH minus. In this one, 4 electrons are involved, right? So this is the oxidation reduction reaction happens in the what you call rusting. So then this is a chemical change, right? Hydrochloric acid volatilization, that is again a physical reaction, right? So answer is third one, right? For the second one, yes, for the second one, the correct name compound is first one is actually carbon monoxide, not carbon dioxide. Second one, actually sodium carbonate. And third one, FeCO3, that is iron 2 carbonate. And CuCl, that is not copper 2 chloride, that is copper 1 chloride. Sorry, copper 1 chloride, because the oxidation state of Cl is -1, then when it comes to copper, it is copper plus, right? That is it. Now, there are two answers, right? What do you think the best answer? Can someone tell me? Sodium carbonate or FeCO3? What is the best answer for this? Or do we accept two? Anyone? Any answer? What do you think?
The third one, sir.
Third one. Why not the second one?
In the third one, the oxidation number is mentioned.
But when you mention sodium carbonate, that also correct, right? But look at now, there is a common name is given. Soda ash is the common name for sodium carbonate. So when you get the answer, you have to answer the most proper answer. So then the third answer is the correct iron 2 carbonate, right? Then third one, if you go to the third one, incorrect name compound is, right? What is your answer? What do you think? What do you think? Incorrect named compound is. Anyone? Parvusha? Umesha?
The third one, sir.
Third one. Why not the other? Incorrect name compound is. What is the name of first compound?
Sorry, sir. It's the first one.
First one, ethanol. Then all others are wrong.
Others are correct, sir. The incorrectly.
First one wrong. The ethene is correct. Ethane is correct with 3 bonds. Then ethane is correct. Right? So then why ethanol is wrong? What is the mistake or what is the wrong over there?
Sir, for ethanol, it's 2 carbons, right?
There are 2 carbons.
Yeah.
CH3, CH2OH.
Sir, that ethyne thing, the third one, what is it, sir?
Ethine is, it's a alkyne with triple bond. This one.
Okay, sir.
Then, is there any incorrect answer here?
No, sir.
Actually,
I'm not sure.
when I tried this one, I didn't see any incorrect compound here. But I
Yeah.
don't know whether from Chinese language there is a wrong one. But for me, ethanol is correct. Ethine means carbon-carbon double bond. We use the prefix ene, ene. For triple bond, yne. For single bond, ane. Right? So those are the things we use. So all the answers are correct here, right? So that is the question, right? And next question also, I have a doubt. The correct chemical notation is, right? 2 hydrogen molecules. 2 hydrogen molecule. Now, what is it? Can someone tell me what is the difference between a molecule and atom? In simple language, what is the difference between molecule and atom? So, if I write this one, and if I write this one, what is the difference? This is
An atom
atom.
is the most basic form of
Yes.
an element.
Most? Yes, Tarusha. Go ahead.
Basic form.
Most? Basic form, the simplest form, right? Then this one. Now, get the understanding of this one because this is you have to get this one very clearly, right? Let me tell you this one. Actually, this is the element. This is the element, right? This is the element. This is a compound, right? This is a compound. The smallest unit of element is atom. So, if you get hydrogen sample, right, hydrogen element sample, the smallest unit is, we are telling them it is made up of hydrogen atoms, right? Now then, can someone tell me what is the smallest unit of hydrogen compound? H2 compound. In a compound, what is the smallest one? The basic unit. Anyone? That is molecule, right? Molecule, right? Molecule. So, hydrogen is an element. So, smallest one is the atom. Then H2, it's a compound because compound is normally we call compound is a combination of 2 or more different element or maybe same element in a ratio. So then the smallest one of that is molecule. Because when you come to Avogadro principle, you have to be very clear on this one, right? Because atoms and molecules are highly tested in Avogadro constant, right? When you get that type of question later on, we'll discuss that one. So look at the answers here. 2 hydrogen molecules. 2 hydrogen molecules, yes. Right? This is 2 hydrogen molecules. That is correct actually. 3 oxygen atoms. 3 oxygen atoms. That's also correct. Right? Then 4 water molecules. Yeah. H2O is a molecule. And there are 4. Right? 4 water molecules. Then 5 sodium ions. Yes. 5 sodium ions are also there. But I didn't see any correct. Everything is correct, right? So maybe Chinese language, there is a problem. That is, these two questions, 3 and 4, I have some doubt about, but according to the chemistry, all are correct, right? That is the thing, right? Anyway, so you know the theory based on, remember this one, right? So ions, I will tell you, normally there are two types of ions. One is positive ion, example sodium plus, Cl minus, it's a negative ion, right? Sodium plus is formed when you release one electron or when you remove one electron. When you gain one electron, it becomes minus charge, right? That is the idea of that. Right, so we'll go to the fifth question. Which substance is pure? Yeah, what do you mean by pure substance? Pure substance means it contains only a particular substance only. There is no any other mixing. Yeah, so which one is pure? What is your answer? Anyone? Diniti? What do you think? Which one is the correct one?
A.
A, hydrochloric acid. Yes. So let me explain the other thing. Air is a mixture of carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen. Saturated brine means brine is normally we take from the salt and sea water. When you evaporate the water from the sea water, it gets saturated. Then only we call brine, right? So in the brine solution, there are so much of different types of salts are there, right? When you take the ice and water mix, right, there are two physical states are there, but hydrochloric acid, what do you think? You have purely, you have hydrochloric acid. Easy. Now, you may have doubts with A and B. What do you think? Definitely, the answer is A because they are saying ice water mix, right? So the answer is A, right? Okay, so we'll go to the question number 6. A pair of allotropes is. Allotropes mean, can someone tell me what is the definition of allotrope? What is the definition of allotrope? In all level also we are learning allotrope. Allotrophic forms of elements, right? Allotropic form means there are two things. Don't get mixed up with this one. Isotope, right? Isotope is there and allotrope is there. Isotope means you have same atomic number but different mass number. Allotrope means same element, you have different forms. Example, carbon, you have two different allotropic forms, that is graphite and diamond. Based on the different types of bonds, it is different. So, water and hydrogen peroxide, it is not, those are two different compounds. Oxygen and liquid oxygen, two different physical state, but we can't consider it is as a allotropic form. White phosphorus and red phosphorus. Yeah, that is we can say it is white phosphorus and red phosphorus. These are allotropic form. Ice and dry ice. What is dry ice? Ice is water. What is dry ice? What is the compound in dry ice? Is it water or any other thing? Water or any other thing? Dry ice?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. Very good. Normally, if you have been to a wedding function, they put that champagne or something, then the fume is coming. That is carbon dioxide, right? Dry ice, right? So dry ice, the temperature is minus value, right? We used to, in chemical transportation, we use dry ice, right? Okay. Right. Oxidation state of nitrogen in ammonium nitrate. So first thing is you should be able to Sorry, I think there's a small internet issue. Right, I think, okay, right, okay. So how do we draw the, now, if someone asks you to find out the oxidation state, you can do this one in a two different ways. That is, manually you can calculate the oxidation numbers, or else you can draw the structure and get the oxidation number. So NH4, right? So let me tell you in this way, NH4 plus and NO3 minus is the two ions that you have here. So you need to find the oxidation number of N. So what you do, so the total oxidation number is +1 here, right? Then for N I will put X, then plus hydrogen is 1 into 4, right? +4, right? +1 into 4. So then X is become -3. So if I do this one, the total one is -1 equal X, oxygen is -2, right? -2. So -2 into 3. So then it becomes -6, and when it comes to A, X becomes +5. So then that is the answer, right? So the second one, answer B, right? So this is the way you get the oxidation number. Generally remember oxygen, hydrogen, what else? Oxygen, hydrogen, normally you have to remember the numbers, right? So that is easy because normally they don't give in the paper. So please remember that. And then we'll go to the next one. What is a solution? So solution mean, what are the two parts in solution? Can someone tell me? There are two parts in the solution. What is it? Rumesha? There are two parts in solution. Solvent and solute. Solution is containing solvent and solute. So definitely there should be two things. That the general idea is solution should contain two things, right? So peanut oil, that is one thing. Distilled water, you have one thing. Then cement slurry and saline, it can be a mixture. But solution means definitely in water, some compound is dissolved, it should be a homogeneous one. Homogeneous. When you take the cement slurry, it is not a homogeneous one, it is a heterogeneous one. Right? So then the answer is A, right? That is the thing. The flame colors of sodium chloride is, so sodium is the one which gives a flame test color, that is yellow color, right? Yellow color, right? So can you remember, when you remember the flame test we did in A-level, right? So please go through all the colors. Normally from flame test, which group elements we can identify? Can someone tell me? Sarusha? In which group
Transition
elements we can,
elements.
which one Buddha?
Transition elements.
Yes, right. So mainly the group one transition. Now, if you tell transition elements, but transition element is not the direct answer. Any other answers? Transition elements mean D block element, right? D block element. Normally, D block elements, they have a color. Why they have a color? Because they exchange electrons from higher excitation level to low. But specifically, there are some elements in periodic table we can identify from the flame test.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
First and second group elements.
First and second group element. Yes, very good. Right. Normally, from the flame test, we used to identify first and second group elements. Transition elements, we no need to have a test like that, because transition element already when the oxidation state change, it gives a color, right? It gives a color. That is the thing, right? So the color. So you can go through your inorganic note if you have. Are you all A-level students? I mean, local syllabus or edXL or Cambridge syllabus? Dimitri, what is your A-level? I mean, Cambridge or
So
local?
I did local, but in Sinhala medium, so it's a bit tough. The terms, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, couldn't ask you that. SM17, what is your name? SM17? Please tell me your name.
Vidurshan.
Huh?
Vidurshan.
Yeah. So have you done in A levels in
Tamil medium.
English? Hmm?
Tamil medium.
Tamil medium. Right. Then A level local or
Local.
edXL? Local. Parusha?
So I did edXL A-levels.
edXL. Then you might very familiar with these things. Rumesha?
Sir, edXL level.
edXL. So two of you, Tarusha and Rumesha, will be very familiar with this thing. So Diniti and other boy, what shall we do? But anyway, you have the exam in English medium, right? So that is the thing. So you have to, I think you will get this recording, right? I'll tell you one thing. Diniti and I don't remember the name, right? Of Essence here. What is the name again?
Vidurshan.
Vidushan, right? Diniti and Vidushan, you can do one thing. At home, you try to get the using the internet, try to get the English terms of these things, right? Next day I will check whether I mean I can do in Sinhala as well. That doesn't matter. But if I do in Sinhala, then Vidushan can't understand anything, right? So that is the thing. That's why I'm doing purely in English. So let me check. Like Diniti, if you have any Sinhala terms to, I mean, if you don't know any English term, put me a message, then I'll tell you what exactly that thing mean in English.
Okay,
For
sir.
you, I can, but the thing is with Vidushan, I am not familiar. Vidushan, I'm very sorry, I am not good in Tamil. That is the thing. So if you have any doubts, please try to ask me. I'll help you. Right?
I am okay with English, sir.
You're okay with English. Okay, good. Right. Right. Okay, we'll proceed. So flame test colors. I will share you. I'll share you a document with you. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. I'll share a document which contain all the colors of flame test. Right, and also some colors in kata. Can you remember kata analysis? Right. In kata analysis, I'll share you the colors. Right. There's a PDF file. I'll share with you. Right. Okay. Then which of the following is a non-electrolyte? There are two things, electrolyte and non-electrolyte. Electrolyte means which mostly contain a liquid form ions, right? Liquid forms ion. Non-electrolyte means normally which contain polar things, right? Which contains, give me 1 second. Yes. Sorry. Right? So non-electrolyte mean which contain non-polar substance. So what is polar and non-polar? Can someone tell me? What is polar and non-polar? Can someone tell me what is polar and non-polar? Rumesh? Rumasha, right? Rumasha. What is polar and non-polar?
So polar molecules have a uneven distribution of electrons.
Electrons.
Non-polar, it's not uneven, it's even.
It's even. Now, let me explain with this very simple thing, HCl. Right, in HCl, now, what is the difference between this one and this is a hydrogen molecule, this is HCl. So, in hydrogen molecule, both of the hydrogen is having same electronegativity. So, the bonded electrons are at the center, right? No deviation. But when you come to HCl, the electronegativity of chloride is very high than the hydrogen. So then what happened? These bonded electrons here, two bonded electrons are here, they will grab into the direction of higher electronegative atom. So then chloride will give a delta minus charge, H will get the delta positive charge. So we call that is a polarity. Getting an uneven distribution of bonded electron. That is a correct term, uneven distribution of bonded electrons. Right, that is the thing. So, that is a basic idea over there. But sometimes, now HCl is a polar one. This is what type of bond is there in this HCl, covalent or ionic? Covalent or ionic?
Ionic.
Ionic.
Covalent.
Covalent. HCl is a covalent, an electron sharing. Now, when you take NaCl, this is ionic. Now, remember, NaCl is an electrolytic solution because it breaks into Na plus and Cl minus ion. Na plus and Cl minus ion. That's why it becomes an electrolyte. HCl, why does it becomes ionic solution? Because, give me 1 second again. Right. So then HCl, when you put into water, it breaks into H plus and Cl minus. Right. So that is the basic thing that becomes a electrolyte. Now, when you come to this compound, remember one thing is CO2. CO2. This is an unpolar one. Then CH4, right? CH4, right? If you take CH4, H, 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 and H. So is this two non-polar or polar? Can someone tell me? Polar or non-polar? Hmm? Polar or non-polar? Hmm?
Non-polar.
Non-polar, because now you can see that it has some polarity, looks like it has some polarity, but this is a symmetrical. This is a symmetrical one. This also symmetrical one. So when there is a symmetrical covalent molecule is there, it forms non-polar compound. It is a non-polar compound. So that's why it becomes non-electrolyte, right? Sodium carbonate, it's an ionic compound, and sulfuric acid, it breaks into two, H plus and SO4, 2 minus. Sucrose is a covalent compound, but it is non-polar. So then that is the one which is non-electrolyte. Then next question also on same topic. I'll clear the board first. And which of the following substance belongs to electrolyte? So electrolyte, definitely it should have iron. So then B, sodium chloride, as I discussed, carbon dioxide, sucrose, and metal aluminium. Metal aluminium does not have any ions over there. So it's a solid substance. So that's why it is not the electrolyte. But aqueous ion solution, definitely aqueous solution can be a electrolyte, right? So answer is B. Then number 12, which of the following reaction is a redox reaction? Redox reaction means oxidation and reduction should be there, right? First one is a neutralization reaction, and second one, it's just a combination reaction. Third one, definitely you can see Fe turns into Fe2 plus, and copper 2 plus turns to copper. Oxidation and reduction is clearly over there, right? If oxidation and reduction is there, it is a redox reaction, right? So then answer is C. Then which of following is commonly used as oxidizing agent, right? So in chemistry, most common oxidizing agents are potassium permanganate, potassium dichromate, hydrogen peroxide. Those are some oxidizing agents, right? So you know about that thing, right? So any doubts up to this point? Any doubts up to this point?
So in the 12th one, carbon dioxide එක අර වතුරේ දියවල H2CO3 හදලා යාට අයන වලට වෙන් වෙන්න බැරිද?
H2CO3 අයන වලට වෙන් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ආයෙත් ඒක හැදෙන්නේ H+ and CO3 2 minus නේ. එතකොට ඒක redox නෙවෙයි දුවන්නේ. ඒක එන්නේ redox කියන මේකට එන්නේ redox එකේදී වෙන්නේ oxidation number එක change වෙනවා. එතකොට in carbon dioxide carbon oxidation number is +4.
So
ඔයා
I'm referring to the 11th one. එතකොට අයන වලට වෙන් වෙලා යාට විද්‍යුතය ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන් නේද?
carbon dioxide
කාබන් ඩයොක්සයිඩ් ජලයේ දියවල H2CO3 හදලා එයා විඝටනය වෙලා.
නෑ මෙන්න මෙහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා. දැන් electrolytic solution එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ now it should contain lot of ions, right? When carbon dioxide dissolve in water, I agree with you, it forms H2CO3 and it may be there in the water as H plus and CO3 2 minus can be there, but that is a very poor reaction. Why? Because the solubility of carbon dioxide in water is very, very low.
Okay,
Right?
thank
Right?
you.
That is right. Okay. So I'll go back to the yes. Question number 14. Which of the following groups consist of allotropes in same element? Allotropes. In same element, allotropes is what is it? Diamond and graphite. As I think I discussed that one previously in another question. A is not isotope, it is what do you call I forget that one. C12 and C13 same atomic number
Isotopes.
but different mass number. What do we call for that? Isotopes. Right?
Isotopes.
Right? Sorry, I forget that one. Right. Which compound aqueous solution is acidic? Now, definitely NaCl, NaOH is not a acidic thing. NaCl salt, NaOH is a basic solution. Sodium carbonate again a basic solution. Then definitely NH4Cl is a actually it's a acidic solution, not a strong acidic solution. It's a weak acidic solution because when ammonia react with HCl, it forms NH4Cl. So then it is an acidic solution, right? Right. When phenolphthalein is added to solution, it turns red. The solution is. Now, sometimes you may have learned that phenolphthalein color change is from colorless to pink. But now in this one, they have mentioned like red. That doesn't matter because sometimes in some syllabus they teach you as phenolphthalein turns into red in basic medium. So then definitely phenolphthalein turns into red color or pink color in basic solution. So then the answer is C. Right. Number 17. Which gas can be collected by both water displacement and upward air displacement? Now, water displacement, we know that any gas can be collected by water displacement, downward displacement of water, hydrogen, oxygen, or carbon dioxide. But upward displacement of air means the collecting gas goes down and the normal gas goes up. So then the collecting gas should be higher dense for it to put the normal gas goes upward. So then definitely that answer is carbon dioxide. Right? Carbon dioxide. Any doubts up to that? Any doubts up to that? No. Right. Next one. Take 10 milliliters of NaOH solution from 1 liter of 1 moles per liter NaOH solution. The molar concentration of this 10 milliliter NaOH solution. What is your answer? I mean, this is a 1 second answer. What is the answer? Does it change when you take something out from that? Huh? Does it change? Or the same thing? Now, if you take something, I mean, if you have a solution, you take small amount, right? You take small amount. So when you take small amount, does it change the concentration? No, it doesn't change the concentration, right? You take the same. Now, if you take a tea with some amount of sugar, and then you take small, maybe a spoon of tea, then does it change the taste of sugar? No, same concentration. So then the answer is C, right? C. Which of the following statement is incorrect about substance applications? So ethanol can be used for disinfection, yes. Carbon can be used as a fuel. Yes, we can. Then one second. CO can be used as a fire suppression. No. Carbon dioxide we use as fire suppression, right? O2 support combustion. Yes, that also correct. Right, the position of sulfur 16, right? So you have to write the 16 to, give me 1 second. Right, okay. So, right, so then you have to write the electronic configuration 286, right, sorry. 286. So now if you take the 6, that is given the group number, right? Group number. And this 3, the number of set of electron field energy levels, we call as the period number. So then sulfur is on third period and group 6, right? So then the answer is the C, right? 20 C. When concentrated sulfuric acid is left exposed to air, what changes can happen? When concentrated one is there, normally it release some fume kind of thing. So then solution mass can be decreased. That is answer. Right? Right. Any questions up to that?
Sir, the 17th question, sir, The answer, what you said was carbon dioxide, right? සර් මෙතනදී දෙකක් බලන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ වතුරේ දිය නොවෙන්නත් ඕනේ. අනිත් එක යාගේ ඝනත්වය normal air වලට වඩා අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ උඩට යවන්න නම්. එතකොට සර් කාබන් ඩයොක්සයිඩ් ගන්න බෑ නේද? එයා වතුරෙත් දිය වෙනවා. අනිත් එක යාගේ ඝනත්වෙත් වැඩි නේද? එතකොට උතන හයිඩ්‍රජන් නෙමෙයිද ගන්න පුළුවන්?
හයිඩ්‍රජන් ඝනත්වය අඩුයිනේ. හරිද?
ඔව්.
අප්වර්ඩ් දැන් මෙන්න මේක තමයි මගේ බේසික් එක. upward displacement of air. හරිද? ඔයාගේ collection tube එක මෙහෙම තිබ්බොත් මෙන්න collection gas produce වෙන chamber එක මේක නම් ඒ chamber එකේ ඉනම් මේ gas එක it comes all over the here.
Yes sir.
Then carbon dioxide is a denser gas, so carbon dioxide goes down, the filled
Yes.
normal air goes up. That's what we call upward displacement of air.
Okay
right?
sir.
You take hydrogen, what happened? Hydrogen is a low denser gas. So when you collect in this method, hydrogen goes up. Hydrogen we collect in other way around. මේ පැත්ත. මෙහෙම. Right? That
Yes.
is
Sir. Okay, I
right?
understood.
Right. And again, the carbon dioxide is not dissolved very well in water.
Okay sir.
Right. Give me 1 second. Right. Okay. So number 22, which pair of compounds are homologous? What do you mean by homologous? Homologous, it has different meanings. Homologous means structure-wise, sometimes structural similarity, right? When formula is same formula but different structures. Or sometimes homologous series are there. Homologous series means CH4, CH3, CH3, like that increasing order of alkanes, or maybe alcohol, like that. So now if you go through these answers, they are asking some kind of a homologous series actually. So first, second and fourth answer, I don't see any relationship because in first one, CH3 is alkane, other one is alkyne. Second one, alkene and alkyne. C, you have two alkanes. It's a homologous, right? So like that, you have to find the answer. Then 23, which of the following reaction classification is correct? Classification is correct. First one is not a single displacement, right? Second one is not a combination, mean two things or three things combine and form one thing. Definitely, it is not a combination one. Third one, yes, it's a double display. Very sorry. Yes, it's a double displacement reaction, right? It is a double displacement reaction. Hydrogen is replaced by sodium, right? That is the when the reaction reach equilibrium, what is always equal to the reaction system. If you can remember, we have learned about the mass law, right? Mass law in a closed system. Closed system, whatever the reaction take place, the mass never gets changed, right? So answer is B, right? Which of the following substance is classified as an oxide? Sodium hydroxide. It is not oxide, it is a hydroxide. Oxygen is oxygen, it is not oxide. H2O, it is oxide. H2O is oxide, right? Number C is the answer. Which of the following statement about catalyst is incorrect? Now, we know that catalyst is increase the rate of reaction. It never used in a chemical reaction, but it makes a chemical reaction in a different path, right? So then answer is a catalyst mass change after reaction. No, the mass of the catalyst remains same, right? So then 26 answer is second one. Which pair of substance share the identical chemical bond type? Identical chemical bond type. So O2 and H2 covalent, NaOH and KCl, NaOH covalent, KCl is ionic. Then NaCl ionic, HCl covalent, then HNO3 covalent, NH4NO3 ammonium nitrate, that is ionic. So then answer is A. 28 is very simple. B is D. Answer is D. Nothing to discuss, right? Yeah. 29. When barium chloride solution is added to unknown solution, a white precipitate form. What is that white precipitate? Definitely barium sulfate or silver sulfate, right? Sorry, very sorry, silver chloride, right? Barium sulfate or silver chloride. Then, what is the answer? COD. What do you think? Solution may contain sulfate. Now they are saying it is not dissolved in nitric acid. Does barium sulfate dissolve in nitric acid? Don't know. Can someone tell me? Barium sulfate dissolve in nitric acid or no? Anyone? Yes. Umesha?
No, sir.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does not dissolve. Silver chloride? Silver chloride?
It does.
It does not dissolve. So then that means definitely this might contain sulfate and silver both, right? It can be, right? Right. Any questions up to that level? Any question? No. Right. The reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide, very simple question, neutralization. Which element belongs to the same group in periodic table? That was a very simple question. First one, right? I think no need to discuss, right? The correct order of increasing atomic radius. So we know that when you go from left to right in the periodic table, atomic radius decreases because number of electrons are increasing. So then it reduces the atomic radius. When you go down in the group, the atomic radius increase because the number of electron filled shells are increasing. So then based on that, if you get the answer, number C is the correct answer. So the theory is from left to right, it decrease, and in a group, top to bottom, it increase. Number 33, that is very simple question. Sodium, atomic number is 11. So then answer is B. Right? Okay. At 25 degrees of Celsius, evaporating water from 100 milliliters of 0.05 moles per liter H2SO solution and concentrating to 10 milliliters, the pH of the resulting solution is. What is the value you got? Have you done the question? What is the value? Anyone? What is the value you got? Any idea? So this is the way you do. First thing, you have to find out number of moles in here. Right? So in 1000, you have 0.05 into 100. This is the amount of moles, that is 0.005 moles. This amount is now in 10. Right? So now I calculate again the H2SO for concentration. 0.005 now in 10 and into 1000. Right? Then it becomes 0.5 moles per liter. So how many H plus? How many H plus here? So it is H2SO4. It has 2 H plus. Right? So then how many? What is the hydrogen concentration? 1 moles per liter. So this is a H plus concentration. H plus concentration. Right? So then how do you get the pH? What is the equation in pH calculation? pH is equal minus log 10 to the power H plus concentration. That is the equation to calculate the pH value. So when you apply here, pH will be 0. Right? Log 10 to the power 1 means 0, right? So the pH value is 0. Right. Then any doubts over there? Any doubt? No. Right. 1 second. Right. Next question, 35. For reaction is 2SO2 plus O2 forms SO32. So then SO2 decrease from 1 moles to 0.6 in 10 seconds. The reaction rate of O2 is, right. So this is the way it clarifies. 2SO2 plus O2. It forms 2SO3. Right? So then, how many moles are reacting here? How many moles are reacting? 0.4. Divide by 10. This is the rate for SO2. But look at the ratio between SO2 and O2. 2:1. So that means when 0.4 is reacting, how many oxygen is reacting? 0.2. You have to divide it by 10. Then you will get the value B. Right? So B is the answer. Right? Right. Then next question. Any doubts over there in that question? Right. Then next question. What is the region can be used to detect Cl minus ion? That is definitely silver chloride you can precipitate, and then if it is not dissolving in nitric, then it is silver chloride. So then answer A, right? That is related with the previous question we discussed, right? Then which of the following equilibrium will shift forward product formation when either pressure is decreased or temperature is increased, right? So this is something about Le principle, right? Le principle. Now, when you come to pressure decrease or pressure involvement mean when you increase the pressure in a gaseous reaction, right? So that gaseous reaction tend to move towards the direction where it has the minimum number of compounds. Minimum number of compounds. If you decrease the pressure, means you have a lot of volume, so then it goes towards the side of where you have higher number of gaseous molecules. Temperature means it is endothermic or exothermic. If you increase the temperature in endothermic reaction, it moves to the product side. If you increase the temperature in exothermic reaction, it moves backward. I think you have learned this one in all levels. So pressure decrease means definitely you have to look at to the number of gaseous things. Pressure decrease means increase the number of gaseous molecules. Here in this side you have 1, but in this side 2. So then it can be answered. Here you have 4, here you have 2. Then that is not the answer because it is reducing the number of gaseous molecules. So then it is wrong. Then NO2 and N2O4 again reduction of number of gaseous molecules. This one again reduction. So then definitely the answer is first one. We'll see whether it is endothermic for this thing. Yes. When you increase the temperature, endothermic reactions move towards the production. Right? Are you clear in that? 38. Which of the following is a substitution? Substitution means you replace some element or functional group by another, right? That is the thing. So then ethane with hydrochloric acid, no. Benzene with hydrogen, that is not a substitution. It is addition reaction. Methane with chlorine, if you can remember, methane with chlorine reaction is the first reaction that you learn in A-level local syllabus. Can you remember this one? CH4 react with Cl2, right? Can you remember this one? Cl, hydrogen, this one, right? It's a substitution. Then next one, the correct statement about organic compounds. So what is your answer for this one? Tell me your answer. Organic compounds contain carbon. That's correct. But inorganic also sometimes it contains carbon like sodium carbonate, carbon dioxide, sodium bicarbonate. They are also inorganic compounds. So basically the statement A is correct. We'll see other. All exhibit isomerism. No. Some of the compounds are there in organic compound. They do not show isomerism like CH4, CH3, CH3. That type of compound does not show any isomerism. They contain only carbon and hydrogen. No, carbon and hydrogen containing compound we call hydrocarbon. That is that also under the organic compounds, but not all the organic compounds contain hydrogen and carbon only, because you have oxygen, nitrogen. There are many. They cannot synthesize artificially. They can. You can synthesize. So then most probably good answer, that is first one. Then 0.2 moles of water undergoes photolysis to produce hydrogen. Which statement is correct? So what is photolysis? Maybe not, you may not aware what is photolysis. Actually, photolysis is you react water in sunlight. It forms 2H2 plus O2, right? So this is a photolysis reaction. So you have 2H2O. So if you react 0.2, how many it forms? Again 0.2 height. So then this is the answer, right? So this reaction you have to remember. I think it is not in the A-level local syllabus. I think Edexcel syllabus photolysis is there. Right. Are you clear? Up to that point, any questions? No. Right. Okay. So for today, now it's a free class for today. So there are so much of disturbance, but anyway, from next day onwards, we can do in the Saturday evening, right? Saturday evening, we can like 6 to 8 p.m. as I mentioned. I think the study reserve admin will inform you. So we'll continue on that time, 6 to 8. So if you are really like to continue this one, you can join from next week. And please inform your friends also about this one. So yeah. So what do you think? Is it good or bad? Please tell me your comment.
It's good, sir.
Good.
Yeah, it's good, sir.
Right. Okay. So
Good.
right. So for today we'll wind up the class and we'll meet on next Saturday evening. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Then thank you for coming and we'll meet you on next week. Right.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.